Hi, Flosstube. This is Angel from the Elegant Thread. I say I wanted to do just a quick update because I, of course, have been binge watching Flosstube, and I am starting to pile up things that I want to talk about. So I start taking these notes, and I think, oh, I need to do another video. So here we are. I don't know which number this is. I think it might be 16. Maybe 16, 17? I'll put it in the notes. Happy 4th of July to all my fellow American stitchers. I normally don't include a date reference in my Flosstube videos because I personally go back and watch other people's videos and days, months, sometimes years later, and having a date, then I kind of miss it. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I've been watching some that have references to dates. They start off with today is the date and the time and things, and it doesn't seem to. I thought maybe it would impede watching. I'm like, oh no, that one's from 2017, but it doesn't. It doesn't hurt at all. So happy 4th of July. How's that? Okay, that was a long ramble thing about absolutely nothing. Yay! So last video, if you're just now joining me for the first time, to understand this, you'll have to go back and watch the previous one. But I said, remind me, there is something that I want to show you. And who was it? I don't even remember who did it. Someone stitched no bees, no honey, no work, no money. And I said, I did that one. Who was it? I don't remember. It might have been Misty Purcell or somebody. I don't remember. Maybe not. But here it is. I went into my stuff and found it. Hopefully you can see it. This I stitched obviously in 2001. A while ago. Not a new pattern. But it's good to see with all the bee craze this year that people are going back and stitching it. You know what? One thing I love about cross stitch is that things stay around for so long. It's not a flash in the pan kind of thing. So this was I think the second thing that I ever stitched on linen. It was really great. So there it is. I'm very excited. Of course, my piece of linen wasn't quite big enough, so I only have about a 1-inch margin. It was the first time that happened to me. Boy howdy. Later on, some serious things would happen, like I would stitch and not have enough linen left. Oh, heartbreaking, especially when it's like something big. But yay! So I found it, and I'm very excited. It was the first time on Flosstube that someone else was stitching something that I had done, and it was so cool to see. One, that she was stitching it, and two, her progress on it. And it was almost like it made us kindred spirits. So it's a little metaphysical, but hey, it was just really cool. So I'm very excited about it. Yay! It's an old one, boy, and that's DMC. All DMC, all called for colors and things like that at that time. Oh, even my back is pretty good. Ooh, check that out. Ooh, that's my back. So, yay! It helps to be, type A when you're a cross stitcher. It's perfect for me. Yeah. So I made a whole bunch of notes because I have so much to share with you. It's been like a couple of weeks. I've been traveling. So I didn't get to go to StitchCon. Do you see my poo-poo lip? Maybe it's a boo-boo lip, poo-poo lip, whatever you want to call it. Sad face, sad face. Okay, next year I am so going to StitchCon. No bones about it. I did not go to StitchCon this year. And Memory and Amy from Current Situation. It was because I was in New York City. So I went to New York for World Pride. 50th anniversary of Stonewall. I should have gone to StitchCon because it wasn't all that. It wasn't really what I thought it was going to be. yeah, you kind of needed tickets to go to things. You couldn't get into Stonewall, near it. I don't really like crowds like that, so I almost left early. I didn't. I stayed. I marched in the parade with the Norwegian contingent because I live in Washington, D.C., and I don't know if he's a Norwegian consulate general or who he is. He's not the ambassador, something like that. He was here and he invited me to do it. So it's much better if you're going to be in a parade that's being watched by 4 million people, if you're in the parade, because it's less crowded. You're actually in it. You have space. All the crowds are on the outsides. So it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but if you're going to go to a huge crowd, be in the middle of whatever's going on, not watching it. But it was cool. But all the videos from StitchCon, all the people who are posting who they met and what they did, and I love it. I love every minute of it. What have I been doing? I've been binge watching StitchCon reviews. That's what I've been doing. So thank you to everybody who's posting things next year. Next year. I think I'm going to call them on Monday and say, hey, can I get on the list now? Already, please? I'm a Flosstuber. I should be there. I mean, really. So, yeah. I'm going to start with call-outs this time because of all the people that I've been watching, and I made notes. I just want, first, Teresa Kogut to know that you are not the only person that did not go to StitchCon. You and me were the only people that did not go to StitchCon. That's it. But next year, Teresa Kogut and me are going to go to StitchCon because I think both of us were just watching and missing everybody, and it looked like it was really wonderful. What a great community. What a great sense of community. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I want to give a shout out to Joanne, the Desert Stitcher. Thank you for the vet call out. It was very nice. You said happy 4th of July, thank a veteran. I myself am a veteran, and here's my 4th of July shirt. I wear it once a year. You did that quilt. You called it something, racing, whatever those things are called, spirals, maybe? But that quilt came out beautiful. Wow. That's all I have to say. It's breathtaking. And you said it was so easy. So I've made one quilt, and it was like a lap quilt for my mom. So I would be willing to try another one because of the way you described it, and your quilt is beautiful. And so is your stitching, by the way. All your finished product are great. So stop by, check out Joanne, Desert Stitcher. She's fun to watch. And Joanne, please put more pictures of your dog. I love to see your puppy. It's okay if he comes in and says hi to the camera because I love dogs. If I could see your dog more often, that would be really great. Okay, I watched Memory and Amy from Current Situation. I watched their wrap-up of StitchCon. Looked like they had a wonderful time. And next year, maybe I'll meet you. I'll be there. StitchCon, not New York City. Okay, I also watched Lori, Mischievous Stitches. And she has a whole bunch of Terrence Nolan patterns, and they're Professor Fuzby's Wondrous Strange Collection of Wee Beasties, which is very long, but they're stitches, patterns, charts for a whole bunch of bugs. And I guess the bugs are done in cranic and all kinds of wonderful fibers and things. Lori, I have some needle minders that would absolutely be perfect for those charts. So if you could send me an email, I'll send you pictures of a few. I just want to send you one because they would match perfectly, I think. So it really sparked something in me. I'm like, oh, I love those patterns. So thank you for sharing them. Stop by and check out her at Mischievous Stitches. And I've been watching Cynthia at Cynthia Brew. I don't know, Brew might be her last name, but Cynthia Brew, she finished this drool-worthy Barbara Anna finish. Wow. And it's huge. I mean, her children were holding it up. It's so big she can't even get it on the camera. It's lovely. And then, of course, the very first Flosstuber I ever watched, and one I continue to watch, Jan Hicks. Jan Hicks creates. She, of course, does great wrap-ups. She loves to talk, and she's wonderful to listen to. So, yes, I've been watching all of her stuff, too. So that's really great. She did a great job talking about StitchCon. So thank you to everybody for telling me all about it, for making me feel like I was actually there, because I get to watch it from what you posted, and that's really great. So thank you. Those are my call outs. Now I want to, since it's 4th of July, and in honor of 4th of July, more than just my shirt, I'm gonna pull out something old that I stitched, oh goodness, a long time ago. And it's framed, so you might get a little bit of glare. Here it is. This was stitched in, let me find a date, 1994. So a long time ago. But it's my only Americana piece, and it's the 4th of July. I just moved, and I don't have my books where I have the pattern and when I stitched it and all of that. So maybe next time, or when I can find my book, when I unpack that eventually, I will tell you who the maker of this, you know, what the pattern is and the designer and things like that. But for right now, it's just my 4th of July pattern, stitched, what I stitched. So it's my America sampler. This was, I wouldn't say it's my first sampler, but it's not. My first sampler ever was from a Cross Stitch magazine, and it was on Ada. This is my first sampler ever on linen. And I also did a version of this. I took this idea and I created a sampler for my dad when he retired, and I used the format, but I filled in all of, he retired Navy, I filled in all of the places he was stationed, and I put in, instead I put in Navy wings, and then I created like medals for him, all kinds of things. So it was a derivation of this, an interpretation of this sampler. So I stitched this one, and then in his house, my mom and dad have the sampler I stitched for him for his retirement. And if I can find a picture of it, I will try and either insert one or I will put it at the end. So hopefully I can find one. This is it. Happy 4th of July. Okay. I also, a while ago, I think in April, maybe? Yeah, April, at Woodlawn. It's an annual needlework show and sale here in it's in Northern Virginia. Woodlawn, I had 2 pieces that were in Woodlawn, and I did a video at Woodlawn kind of showing the room where my pieces were. I didn't want to walk through the whole house because that would have been a little rude to other people trying to look at the exhibits, but I have mine rescued now. They were staying at a friend's house, but they're back. These are the 2 pieces that I had in the Woodlawn show. And one of them got an honorable mention, and I'm not sure which one. This is a drawn thread design. It's part of the Toccata series. And I stitched it in, hold on, let me find a date, 2006. Apologies for the glare, but it's in glass. So that's what it is. It's all kinds of great specialty stitches, and it was my first time ever working with Kreinik. Metallic threads are a pain in the patookus. No matter what you do with them, they're a pain in the patookus. But it came out beautifully. This also was my first time working with pearl cotton. Really wonderful. And this was just an absolute joy to stitch. I love motif samplers. I think I've mentioned that before, because you can sit down and finish like just one, maybe not in one sitting, but you finish these little motifs quicker than the entire thing. So you get these little wins as you go along, and they're really wonderful to stitch. So this is part, this might be Toccata two. Not sure which toccata it is. Again, can't find my book because it's still somewhere in storage. But here it is. That was in the Woodlawn show. And this was the other piece that was in the Woodlawn show. Yep. This is also a drawn thread design. This is Sampler of Stitches, I believe is what it was called. And I could tell you the count of these and all of that once I find my book. But they're both stitched on linen, the called for linen, with called for threads. This also has specialty stitches, and the other one had lots of cranic and metallic threads and stuff. This one has more silk threads, and this might have been one of my first time working with silk. And again, an absolute pleasure to stitch. It reminds me a little bit of, there's one that people are doing that's absolutely huge. It's like 100 alphabets or something like that. This is like a miniature version of that because that one has all these ones together. This is just the alphabet, one alphabet, but it's really lovely. It was really fun to stitch. It's beautiful. The colors are beautiful. Okay, that was, oh, I didn't give you the year. This was 2009 that I stitched this one. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, I do have one FFO. Woohoo! Raise the roof. I posted it on Instagram, so I'm not sure if you follow me on Instagram or if not. It's Ode to the Ort, #2 by Brenda Gervais. And it is With Thy Needle and Thread, designer is Brenda Gervais. So this was a whole kit, came in this cute little box. And here it is. It's an Ort container. There's the top. Yay! I did not use the called for colors. I mean, it was a kit, but it didn't come with a floss. So let's put it that way. It came with the box and directions. So I bought some linen. Let me see what it's in here. The linen, I bought a scrap piece. I'll just hold the lid, right. I bought a scrap piece of 28 count Joblin Queen Anne's lace. And then I used whatever silk threads I had from stash. I actually had leftovers from a Halloween design. Oh, goodness. Can't really remember right now. But I used to do tons of their stuff. They have the interesting little people, little fat people. But anywho, on this I put a magnet on the back of the lid. So it's also a little needle minder. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see him? He is cute. You know what? I didn't put a year on him. Oh, that's just terrible. So maybe on the inside or on the bottom, I'll have to put something about. It only goes one way. If I could just get it on. There we go. So there it is, cute little tin, and the top, Ode to the Ort. Yeah. So hers had a lot more blues and pinks and stuff, and this one's done in purples and oranges and things like that. So that's now my Ort container. I keep it over here on my Kay's Creation stand. That's the only FFO that I have, because I do really big things and they're taking me forever and I'm slow. So now let's go over, I have 3 whips that I want to talk about. So Matter's Choice, my bag. This is the bag that I use for Matter's Choice. I made this bag. Here's the bag, here's the notions case, the scissors, the fob, and this is my cute little needle minder. Look at him, little blue bird, and he matches. You know, the blue bird. So there it is. My little kit. This is Matter's Choice by Carriage House Samplings, and this I started as a a birthday sal for Jen Lee from Quirks and Stitches. Hashtag age doesn't matter sal. So matters choice. This one I started, I didn't like it, and then I restarted it, and now I like it much better. And it is the first one I'm ever doing on a stand. There it is, so far. I got quite a ways, because last time I didn't have any of this side in at all. So I don't even know if I had this bottom piece done. But there you go. I started it completely over on different linen with different floss, and now I really just love it. And it's on my stand. I'm learning to do the two-handed stitch thing, and it's coming along. Every time I do it, it's a little bit more comfortable, and now I've found that I can like lean my arm on the couch, kind of get it situated, get in my little cockpit, get it all situated, and it's pretty comfortable. So I think I'll keep it. Each time, probably better. I also did a little bit of work on Hannah Waller, 1821. This is a Forget-Me-Nots in Stitches. I don't have a picture to show you. I'll have to insert one because the pattern doesn't come with a finished picture. But I'm doing it in my French bag, pink lining. I am using my little Mani Di Donna Queen Bee scissor fob and my rose gold scissors with it. And this is how far, oops, I've gotten it. I should have ironed it, I know, it's all wrinkled, but you know, I'm stitching this in hand, so it's very wrinkled. But I really made quite a progress. You'll be able to see, if you look very closely, this side and this portion right here. Originally, I started this using it was a class that I took from Lauren Sauer's Forget-Me-Nots and Stitches, and it came as a kit. So I got the floss, it's 103, Auvers Soie 103, and 40 count linen, and the pattern. And she talked about the history of it and stuff like that. So I started it in the 103, and the 103 is on this side. So this piece and this little piece right here is in the 103. I was not liking the coverage at all in it. You can see, you can't really see right here, but you can see right through it. Yeah, I wasn't happy with that. So I placed an order. I believe it was with Sassy Jacks, and I ordered some Soie d'Auger in the same color, but it's a little bit, thicker, because this is 40 count, and normally 40 count you should be able to use 103, but I'm not sure if this is a week's 40 count, because it is a really open 40 count, really loosely woven 40 count, and you can see right through it. I mean, it's 40 count, but look, you can see right through it. It's just that way. So I didn't start over. I didn't want to rip out, because I had done, this half of a medallion, this quarter of a medallion, and about 1/4 of this medallion already. So I just picked up and started stitching with the other one. And you can really see the difference on this side with the soie, the Auvers Soie. It's much thicker and much better coverage. So this side obviously is done with the Auvers Soie, and then here you can see through it. That isn't, and here you can tell right here. You can see right through the 103. So I will decide when I'm done whether I want to rip out this piece at the very end and redo it in the Soie d'Auger, or if I leave it because it's a lesson. I don't know. I'm going to stitch the whole darn thing and then decide because I am not ripping out all of that and starting over. I need some progress here. Need some progress. So there it is, and obviously it's going to be large. You're only seeing the first quarter of it, but I made a little bit of, I made a good progress. I finished this whole thing, so I'm pretty happy about that. Yay! Put all these away. Okay. Yeah. So there's that, those two whips. And I have one more that I started a while ago. I just haven't really picked it up. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. I have it in this little bag. With the anchor. I don't know if I can show you here. I can kind of show you this part. Yeah. This is a White Lion's design. White Lion Needle Art Designs. The card. Her name is Kathy Lyon. And I can't show you the whole thing because the pattern is, you know, on it. So it is a scissor fob. It's this scissor fob. It's a small. I got it at Celebration of Needlework in one of the round robin sessions. And I started it there, but I didn't finish it. So therefore it's a whip. So I stitched it. I finished the stitching of the two, but I haven't finished the going around it so I can cut it and put it together. I know this one doesn't look very even, does it? Yeah, because it's not. I might have to rip that out. Redo that. That's why it's still a whip. But it's, you know, it's on this kind of very, very, very stiff linen. And then you stitch around it, you cut them out, you put them together, you whip stitch them, stuff it, put a little tassel in it, and it's a scissor fob. I don't know when I'm going to finish that, but there it is. Whip, whip, whip. Okay, I have two things that I kitted up, or partially. I have one fully kitted and one partially kitted that kind of are in the batter's box, on deck, right? So the first thing, I told you I did by Elizabeth Atkinson. 1829, Hands Across the Sea samplers. I wanted to make a special bag just for Elizabeth. I wanted to have everything kind of all matching and great to go together. So I ordered this Tudor Rose fabric. So this is the fabric, Tudor Rose fabric. And I made a bag. Let's see, it has this beautiful closure. I'm not sure I'm really digging the fabric, but it is Tudor Rose fabric. I don't know whether, oh, here's one Tudor Rose hanging off the edge there. But I lined this one, and it's, I know it has nothing to do with Tudors, but it has a little Paris fabric, just because I had some. And then, you know, I made a cute little bag to go with it. And this is lined in this blue, French blue tea towel fabric. So they, you know, these go together. Yay! But this isn't big enough for all of my floss for Elizabeth Atkinson. This is great, you know, as a regular notions bag for scissors and things like that, but it wasn't quite big enough. So you know, for now I'll keep this until I come up with something better. I have several of these. The Tudor Rose fabric. But, so I have a bigger one that I made, and this didn't make to go with it. I just happen to have a bigger one. And it is lined with bees. Oh, they're so cute. So I'm using this bigger one. And you can see it has all of the beautiful 103 flosses in there, ready to go. And this is a needle minder. See, it comes off. It's a needle minder. So I keep it here when I'm not using it. And it that kind of goes-ish. Not really happy with the matchy-matchy of that. I'm gonna do better, but until I make something that goes and is great, that is what I'm using. And, extra special, I bought a pair of Tudor Rose scissors. Isn't that cute? So I haven't made a fob yet for these, but this is gonna go with Elizabeth Atkinson. So great. So right now I do have the Tudor Rose print bag and the Tudor Rose scissors, and I haven't, you know, I'll finish a floss bag to go with it. But then she's on deck. She is all kitted up She is ready to go. I have the, what did I get to go with her? Oh, I should have shown you Elizabeth Atkinson since I just talked about her. This is Elizabeth Atkinson, 1829. This is who is kitted up in the Tudor Rose bag. And the colors really go very well with the bag. And I bought it from Sassy Jack's. 46 count weeks parchment is what I have to go with that I'm going to stitch on. Elizabeth. Beautiful. Can't wait. Very excited about that. Okay, so that one is fully kitted, and then I have one that's partially kitted. This is the bag, and then this is the Notions bag that goes with it. And it's lined. And here I have my Brick House sampler by Brenda Gervais. And then I bought some fabric for it, Newcastle unbleached, 40 count. That's what I'm going to stitch this on. I wasn't so big on the yellowy fabric that she used, so I have this one instead. I think the reds and the blue and the greens will look really great against this color. So that's pretty true to light right there. Okay, so it's not, I don't have the flosses chosen yet, but I do have the pattern, the chart, and the fabric. And, you know, I have it in a bag. There's that. So it's partially kitted. Almost there. I don't have a whole bunch of haul. Like, really, could I have any more haul? Because I bought so much last time. I should never buy anything again, ever. Ever, ever, ever. But I watch Flosstube, and if you watch Flosstube, you're gonna buy something. And if you listen to Fiber Talk, you're gonna buy something. Hashtag Fiber Talk made me buy it. So I only have one thing for for haul. I don't even remember which Flosstube I was watching, but it was someone who attended the Bethia workshop at Sassy Jack's with Nicola Parkman, and this person was a blogger, and she was talking about, she took a class with Amy Mitten, and she took the Tour Van Holland class, and she showed her progress on that, and it was beautiful. So I reached out to Amy Mitten and to see if she offered that anywhere else. Turns out she's not teaching that anymore right now, so instead I bought the whole kit. So it's Tour Van Holland, and I don't even know if there's a finished picture anywhere. And what it is it has several chapters, and as you go, it's kind of like a mystery sampler. As you go, each section of the chart, you learn about Dutch samplers. You learn something else. So you kind of do them a section at a time, and there's a mystery associated with the whole thing. There's like a story that goes with it. And yeah, so I guess your Tour of Holland in search of samplers is what it is. So it's From Fibers to Dye for Amy Mitten designs. She dyes, I believe, her own flosses, her own fabrics. So it came with everything. So here's the fabric and the flosses. Aren't they beautiful? And I've noticed her silks have a very interesting twist to them. They seem to be a little more coarser twist, which is kind of remind me of needlepoint ink silks. But oh, this fabric is beautiful too. So there's Tour Van Holland, and I don't even know how many. Oh gosh, how many chapters there are? Okay, chapter 1. Okay, there's chapter 1. There's a chapter 2. So it's like a whole sampler each time. Chapter 3. Oh my goodness. Chapter 4. chapter 5. And chapter 6. And as you go, each chapter is a section of the sampler, and there's a mystery associated with it. So I just have to read the front because it's really great. So the Tour van Holland. Oh, it sounded like such a wonderful trip, a great vacation. How could something go so wrong? 10 avid needleworkers and their instructor were off to tour several provinces in the Netherlands. Their research and study of antique Dutch samplers would include museum visits, private collections, and attending lectures. Lisa, a very enthusiastic woman in the group, brought along her laptop computer. Almost immediately, she started to chart a design for a sampler to commemorate the trip. She and the other women planned on getting together to stitch the sampler when they returned home. But there was an unfortunate accident, and Lisa tragically died on the last day of the tour. The group returned home very sad to have lost such a wonderful and talented friend. A few weeks later, each member was surprised to receive a package in the mail. It was Lisa's chart for the Dutch sampler that she had been working on during the tour. With each chapter of the story and each section of the chart, we will learn much about Dutch samplers, the knowledge that these women gained during their tour of the Netherlands. Perhaps we will discover what Lisa was trying to tell them through both symbolism and hidden messages within her sampler design. Okay, that is a really cool story, and this is going to be a fun project, a very fun project, considering I don't have the finished, what it looks like in the finished. So it's very much like a mystery sampler. Cool. So thank you, Amy Mitten. That was wicked fun. Yeah. Okay. Before I go, I want to tell you, I want to give you an Elegant Thread update. So the Elegant Thread, that's me. I have an Etsy shop, and I make curated heirloom needlework sets and needle minders. So I have a new bag idea. When I was, I had a table at Celebration of Needlework, and one of the women I was talking to asked about, I put these really fancy, obviously you've seen, you know, my closures. I put lovely, beautiful closures on my bags. I want everything about it to be kind of special and fancy, and something that it's a gift to yourself, or it's a gift to somebody, and it's really something that you pass down. Wouldn't you just love, like, you have this set, you know, it's the bag, it's the notions bag, it's the minder and the scissor fob, and someone saying many years from now, oh, this was my grandmother's needlework set, or something. So I really, that's my intention when I make these bags. But someone said, well, why don't you use the needle minder as the closure to the bag? Right now I have, the closures are on the bag, they don't come off. I have a needle minder that's separate, because I thought maybe you want to use the bag for something else, right? So if you know you want the closure to be there. But so I have a few, there's 4 or 5 that I've made that I'm trying as a test, where the closure is the needle minder. So for example, here's a little guy, a little notions bag, and he's lined with polka dots, but this is the needle minder. Look at that little bee. Isn't he cute? So he has a back, and he's a needle minder, so he comes off. He's magnetic, and you use him as a needle minder, and then you can, or as a brooch, or close your scarf, or you put him as a magnet on your refrigerator, whatever you want to use him for. But he's also like the closure for the bag, and in the bag I'll have a little magnet inside the bag in the back where he'll also close the bag. So that's one sample. And then here's another notions bag. Cute little cute fabric that's kind of like registers and old Wyckoff, Siemens, and Benedict. Really interesting. So old stuff. And here I have a 20 centime needle minder. So it comes off. There's the back, but also it is the closure. So these are our demos. I'm trying them out. I'll put them on and see how they go. And yeah, tell me what you think. Okay, sorry, I got a phone call. One more. I did a drawing, a random drawing for this to share with somebody, and I am going to share it with Liz, the Scottish Stitcher. So thank you very much, Liz. Please send me your email and your address to agillery627@gmail.com, and I will send this to you. Congratulations. Bye.